I'm actually from Govan Hill, where you were born.
Whereabouts in Govan Hill? Ashley, whereabouts in Govan Hill is it?
Well, I don't like to give my exact address,
Oh.
but it's just Kingath Street.
Oh, right. I was born in Allison Street.
Oh, brilliant.
And then I was there for 5 years. And then in 65, I don't know when you were born. When were you born? About 1995.
Oh, thanks very much. No, 1986 actually.
96, that wasn't a bad guess.
86.
Oh, 86. All right, okay, right. And then I moved. Well, I didn't move. I was 5, but we moved to Mount Florida in Kilmarnock Road, and then I went to school there, and then I went up to Kings Park Secondary, and then that's when I met Gillespie, who'd come in for Springburn. So we were both. That was what happened.
Well, that's right. Well, Bob Gillespie, obviously, we all know who Bob is. But Bob Gillespie's dad used to come into the Clutha every single night. Right?
I think his dad. Where does his dad live? I think his dad still lives up.
Mount Florida?
Yeah.
Because his wife, or I don't know if it's his ex-wife now, don't work there.
I don't know.
She owns a dog grooming.
No, she does. She does.
When
I was doing that documentary with Bob on Primal Screams, and we were going past, and he told me that I don't know what relationship Bob is to that woman, his dad's wife after his mother, God knows what you call it. It's what you call that, his stepmom. And he went, oh, there's a dog grooming. I don't even know if he called it a dog grooming thing. I think he thought it was a beauty parlour or something like that.
Beauty parlour for dogs and mutts.
That was fair enough. Dogs are probably getting a love as well, man.
No, I know, totally. Actually, do you want to see my wee dog? I've got a wee dog called Mr. B.
Oh, brilliant. And how's the Clutha doing? Are you surviving this madness?
Well, I think the Clutha can survive anything, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah, so I think we're just waiting to find out what's going on with the live music, because it's the live music that keeps the place alive, keeps the place going. So I don't really know.
When I met you that time with Las Vegas, I don't know how you can socially distance in the Clutha because it's so small. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure you can actually do it. Do you know what I mean?
Everybody's absolute crackers. So everybody that goes to the Clutha is jumping about, dancing, having the best time ever.
Yeah,
it's a difficult one. How have you been getting on during lockdown?
I'm all right. I mean, I'm just in my flat in London, and it's easy for me, really, to be honest. You know what I mean? I can just, I mean, I'm weird anyway. So like 3 months of staying in, I've done it before.
You've been to rehab, haven't you?
I've done it before in the 90s, in the middle of the 90s. I kind of stayed in for about a year. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Can you remember that year?
In Glasgow? No, I was coming. I was getting sober basically, and it was about, when was it? The whole of '94, just about. It was about February to October '94. I guess where I stayed, you'd like us, Renfrew.
Renfrew, love it.
It was a mad time. It wasn't that well, but I ended up getting a wee street off Renfrew. I rented a house and just got off drugs basically. You know what I mean?
So how long has that you've been sober?
Well, I mean, quite a long time, really. I mean, since '94 with drugs, really, and then with booze. I mean, last time I touched booze was about 2004. So I'm pretty sober.
Wow.
And then of course, actually, I've went even more extreme. Of like, I don't do meat. I don't do coffee. Got off the prescription pills. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm now, I mean, just the last couple of years when I got off all the prescriptions, I mean, I'm just absolutely, there's nothing going on anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm completely sober. Do you know what I mean?
So you're totally zen and totally...
Well, I don't know. I've got a big beard. Do you know what I mean? That's about it.
Right, so I was looking at a couple of photographs and over the past couple of weeks, watching some of your documentaries and all that. You had bright red curly afro.
I used to have it. Oh yeah, I had mad hair. Because I managed Mary Chain and we all kind of influenced each other. This is the 80s. We actually, you were born in 86, did you say?
Yeah.
We got famous with that band about 85 and 84 really. And we all had that mad hair. Do you know what I mean? We were like, so that was a 80s hair but gone wrong sort of vibe.
That's a bit kind of what's going on with my lockdown locks at the moment.
I thought it was good, man. Your look, is that red? That red hair? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
ginger.
that.
Ginger on the bread.
Yeah, you'll be like you're lucky. You're never going to lose that.
No, well, here's hoping.
Do you have a bad temper, Ashley?
No, I don't. Well,
Oh, right.
I'm usually quite chilled, but it takes a lot for me to blow.
Oh, right. When I was young, I was bad tempered, but I'm not now. You know, I mean, I'm now really chilled out. But yeah, when I was a kid, when I was a bit younger than even you know what I mean? I was mad, you know, with the tempers and I didn't give my own way.
You know that way whenever you think about Glasgow and
Yeah.
you think about Govan Hill, right in the midst of the city, and you're talking about the guy that's hung about with the biggest rock and roll bands in the whole entire world, managed them, got them to fame, and he's a ginger guy in Glasgow. You just go, he's going to be absolutely mental, right? And you'd expect that, especially with like the Oasis brothers and stuff like that, they've got a bit of swagger and all that. You're thinking
They were more mental than me, but quite a lot. Tell you what, one of the upsides. I remember. I mean, I did it in about it. It's quite a good story, right? I remember when we flew into New York with the Mary Chain in about '85. And I ended up really big pals with this woman, but she was fucking crackers. Ruth Polsky, right? And I remember we flew into New York, and I had a reputation for being like kind of like the Scottish version of Malcolm McLaren, right? Who was a fucking tour. And she sat next to me. I went through this tunnel, and she was trying to get me to do what she wanted. So she started squeezing the inside of my leg.
oh no!
I suddenly went, I'm not that much a handful. You know what I mean? She was like, because I think she thought, I'm going to have to play up to this guy. And I was like, I'm not that mental. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you say that, but I'm sure you're more
I'm a teddy bear now, man. Yeah, you can get friends with my friends. That's Las Vegas. I'm total teddy bear now, man.
No, totally. That's the thing. Whenever I first met you, and I knew that I was going to meet you, I was like, oh, I'm a wee bit feared because he's like, you know what I mean, Glaswegian, you know, Oasis, all the best bands ever, and then you're like the nicest guy ever, and I was like, all right, okay, that's cool. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared. I'll give him a wee message and see if he wants to do this show. I'm so glad. Thanks very much for coming on. Right, I've got a couple of questions from some of our listeners.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever had a song written about you?
Yeah, a few. I had, in the very beginning, I had, what was that? I know someone who knows someone that knows Alan McGee quite well, right? So it's a good story though, right? So it came out and blah, blah, blah. You know, I never thought I'd meet the guy. And then I was in a record company office, right, in Los Angeles, Zoo Records about, that song came out about 1985 or 86, right? And then I was in a record company about 1991, this posh record company but they had just emerged. I think it was through a hedge fund or something like that, right? You know, you went in the carpets. The carpets, Ash, were about 4 or 5 inches. You know when you go into carpet and rich they're like that, the bounce, right? So anyway, they had signed the guy. He was in this band, the Pooh Sticks, and he'd signed this guy that had written this song about me. Anyway, so this guy, I can't remember what he's called, and he went, hey, blah, blah. I think his name was Hugh, who now works for the BBC in Cardiff, I think, right? And he went, Alan McGee wants to say something to you. And I think they all thought I was going to come on and kind of be nice, but me being me, I knew how to really upset the guy. I went on and I went, all right, glad you've got a record deal. You're now worth suing. I'll see you in fucking court.
Yes.
And put the phone down. And I think the wee guy almost had a heart attack.
You're like, he's my 20%.
I was just taking the piss.
I know. Poor guy. Poor guy. Right, so we've got another couple of questions. Right, the thriving 80s in Glasgow. How much has it changed? Obviously, it's a wee bit different now because of lockdown. But before lockdown, what's the difference in comparisons to the 80s Glasgow scene to right now?
I don't live there anymore. I haven't lived there since 1980, right? Mm-hmm. But it used to be mental, as in, it was just, you could walk down. Yeah, I used to live quite close to Hampden, as in, like, because I lived in Mount Florida. This was standard, right? You'd be walking down to the football ground, right? As in, not even a match on, right? And some guy would clock you. And for no reason, within about 30 seconds, Ash, you would be fighting him. Because it was like gladiators or something like that, right? You'd be walking to play football. This guy, wherever, like Tony Glenn or something like that, would see you, say something, and you'd be fighting him. And it was just, it done my head in the 70s. Because I was like, I wasn't hard or anything. I wasn't soft, I wasn't hard. And every time you go out, you're going to get into a fight. It just bored me, man. You know what I mean? That's one of these I split.
It toughened you up for the London life and
what was good about going to London was that, you know, if the English are going to fight you, it's usually over money or women. Do you know what I mean? But they're either fighting you because basically they're trying to do something, you know, like with your finances or something like that. They'll fight you for money, and they'll fight you if they think you're trying to get. You know, when I was younger, you know, go wide with their women. Other than that, it's not random violence in England. It never has been. Scotland was random. You could be walking down. Yeah, you could be walking down Hampden, minding your own business, and some lunatic goes, "Ah, you ginger cunt," and it's, do you know what I mean? All right, sorry.
I forgot to say please do not swear. But anyway, live, what can we do?
Blah blah, and you could be off. You know what I mean? I got bored with that. You know, for me personally, I got bored with that. I just was like, you know, London was a lot easier. It was a lot easier to deal with. You know what I mean?
That's saying a lot. Right. So another question from one of our listeners.
Yeah.
If you were stuck in a room with Liam and Noel Gallagher,
I'd lose more hair.
24 hours and you couldn't get it.
I'd lose more hair.
What's the three things that you would need to have with you?
A bodyguard.
A definite.
A bodyguard. No. If I was in a room with Liam and Noel, I'd need three things.
Stuck in a room, remember? You're stuck there, you can't get out.
Valium. Valium, first one. Valium, beer.
Anything else?
And toys.
Okay, listeners, don't do drugs, kids. Oh my God, right. So Valium and beer.
Isn't it weird breakfast show? It's the best breakfast show I've been on for a long time.
There we go, happy days. All right, I know, but we don't know if it's going to continue after this. If Ofcom are going to pop us off.
I'm trying not to get kicked off the air.
Going to go out in style, do you know what I mean? The first one. You got to do it, right? Okay, so Irvin Welsh, you wrote a book. You're an author.
Well,
right.
Answer. I wrote a load of stories in a book, but Irvin loved it. And he said to me years ago, but 2014, it came out in 2013, and he said to me, oh, that should be a film, blah, blah, blah. And I never took it seriously. I said, you never really do it. Because I've known Irvin since 92, before he was big. We knew him. He was talking to us, maybe 90, 91, and Trainspotting hadn't been made into a film. We knew him when it was just big in Edinburgh, that book, and we'd all bought the book. This is in London, me and Primal Scream, and we loved Irvin. And so, but when Irvin's telling me, 20 odd years later that my book could be a film, I just didn't take it that serious. I just thought he's just being nice, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because he's a good guy. And,
yeah, but...
and then he done the script, and then, you know, bit by bit it came together. And then the bit actually it really came together was when he got Danny Boyle. And then when Danny Boyle got involved, then it got funded, it got paid. And now they're just trying to do the distribution deal. But I mean, I want it to go through this year because I want it when everybody's in the house watching films. It'd be a great time to put it on Netflix and Sky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be spending a lot more time
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, which is great for families.
Well, as long as you like your family.
I know, that's what I'm saying there. I'm saying some instances maybe not. I know I'm here myself, but me, my wee duck, me, Mr. B, we're fine, we're loving life.
Right. And do you live on your own, Ashley?
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's like, I mean, I think sometimes it's a lot easier just living on your own.
Love it. I know. Don't get me wrong, I've had flatmates in the past and I've stayed with a partner and all that. I think I'm just going to be one of these women that has their own wee pad.
Yeah.
And just, you know, once or twice a week, you know, that's fine for me.
My kids come and stay with me. I mean, it's like I've got my daughter coming next Wednesday to come and stay with me, and she's coming for the month. And then my son's up and down as well. Do you know what I mean? You know.
Oh, good. So are you in London on your own?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, like, what was your first initial?
We could do rock and roll cribs, and I could.
Like, we totally could. By the way, actually, the hassle that I've had this morning trying to get onto this with the boys, I've got makeup brushes everywhere. I've got the dog doesn't know what's happening.
Are you on every morning, Ashley?
Well, this is my first one, but I will be Monday to Friday. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
We're going to be playing loads of tracks from new artists coming through. Also,
Brilliant.
Other classic Brit pop classics. But we're hopefully going to be able to make this into a wee show.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
And we'll put this out once we're all ready to go. I think we're just waiting. The reason why we've not actually officially launched yet.
Whenever you need somebody to talk about, you know, music or anything like that, I'll come on, no problem.
Brilliant.
Just message me.
Why don't we just do it together? We could co-host it.
I'm rubbish in the mornings, dude. This is me really trying.
Listen, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning and I lay in my bed looking at the ceiling going, what am I doing? What am I doing? Am I making the right decisions? Like, I'm the youngest I'm ever going to be. Just need to go on with it. Totally go on with it. Like, I've got loads of it. Oh, there's been loads of people messaging us through the week, right? So, well, seeing it's Glaswegians, honest to God. Alan, what does your nutting?
No,
I like how you have to think about
not
that.
much anymore, really, to be absolutely honest. I don't really let anything really get to me. I used to, to be honest, be a bit of a firecracker, probably, to be honest. You know what I mean? But now, I just get on with it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty low key. I mean, I'm old now, Ashley. I'm 59. I'm maybe 60 in a couple of months. So,
right, what are you doing for your 60th? And am I getting an invite?
Yeah.
To the party? Am I getting an invite to the 60th birthday party?
Probably a Zoom party, but you can come if you want.
A Zoom party?
I mean, but nobody has parties anymore, do they? They all just go, hello.
Well, I can't wait to have a party as soon as this is over.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, in England, they're listening enough. You can go to the pub tomorrow, do you know what I mean? So they're all
going. I'm going to say, well, rumour has it that a couple of bars and things like that in Glasgow are charging to even just book the table alone.
Yeah.
And they're asking for a pretty penny, but there's a couple of bars that I would definitely recommend. It'd be the Amethyst and Govan. I think you've popped into the Amethyst and Govan with Denise
Oh, right,
Yeah, I think you've been in there. That's a cracking wee place, so I'm really looking forward to that. Opening up right across the road to the shipyard. And the team from here are brilliant.
How amazing is that Clother Bar? That's an amazing place, isn't it? You know, I mean, I've never been in it since that time.
Yeah, well, this is what I was going to ask you as well. What was your first ever Clother experience?
That was it. I'd never been.
Wow.
I'd never been. I didn't know about it, you know, to be honest. And I don't live there anymore. So, I mean, I'm only ever really up if it's Las Vegas, or maybe I've got somebody like the Mondays playing or something like that, you know, and then I'm up. But, and you know, you keep it, I mean, unless James and Denise take me somewhere, you kind of keep it pretty, keep it to your hotel or James's flat or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not that complex, do you know what I mean, you know? So I'd never been, but then they did that show and I came up on the train. That was a funny day though, that actually, right, because I was coming up. I'd just been sent the script before we shot with Irvin, right? And I was going up. It was quite funny. It was like half-empty train, right? And I was sitting in first class reading the script, and it got to a couple of one-liners, right? And I actually spat the tea out. Luckily, there was nobody in the other chair. It was like, it'd have been a bit embarrassed because I couldn't actually. Because there was a couple of seriously like, you know, choky moments, because he's funny and everything. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant. So the movie, it's based around your book. Is that right?
Was that?
The movie is based around your book and a wee bit of your life too.
Some of it's made up, Ashley, because it's Irvin. You know what I mean?
I know, but people are going to be watching it and going, "He's mental."
Yeah, it's actually though the more extreme parts of the truth, but it's like, but some of the characters that he's got in the film are made up. 2 or 3 characters, you know what I mean?
Can you give us a wee snippet of? Have you got the script at hand? Is there any chance we can get a wee? I
don't have it at hand, but no, there's some really funny moments. It's like, you know. Some of them are, well, they're actually true. I went to Checkers one time, and it was a long story, but you know, like Blair invited me down to Checkers to talk about. I managed to get all the musicians on benefits for years. Do you know what I mean? For the next 10 years. But I went down to see Blair, and I'm standing, and we're going to have a Saturday night in, and there's all these different people coming. But he hadn't told me one of the guests, right? And I'm sitting talking to Blair, and then suddenly I'm like, now then. And I turned round, it was fucking Jimmy Savile.
Oh my God.
And that happened. I've never met Jimmy Savile up to that moment. I was like, what the hell, you know? And he was he was a total creep, you know what I mean?
Well, the entertainment industry, there's a lot of bad press and a lot of stuff coming out about certain people quite high up in the entertainment industry, Hollywood, all of that kind of stuff. I'm sure you came across, obviously, just so does that story there, came across a few absolute. I don't think the
entertainment, and I'm not a conspiracy person. I know what you're trying
to
say.
Well, that was one of the other questions that someone had put in. Alan, what's the most mental conspiracy you've heard?
Look, I don't think the industry is any different from driving a bus, really, to be absolutely honest. I think there's creeps everywhere, you know what I mean?
No, totally. Right, so, your favourite band you ever managed?
I think probably Primal Scream.
Ooh. How is Bob?
What's that?
How is he?
Bob, he's great. No, the reason I'm close to that thing is only because we all grew up with each other. Do you know what I mean? I grew up. I knew Bob from when I was 12, he was 11. Ennis, we met when he was about 15, 16 at a punk gig. I knew these guys. I mean, Robert died, unfortunately. Throb died. But I knew Throb when he was about 11, I was about 15 or something like that. So we all knew each other growing up. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So them becoming big, for me, that was a real great one, you know what I mean?
Well, Bob's dad, who's a regular in the Clipper, I heard recently that he had a fall and he's broken his hip or something.
Oh, God. When was that recently?
Yeah, recently
Or a
during
clash
the
of past, though.
lockdown.
I
During
didn't
the
know that.
lockdown, obviously Bob is out and about. God knows, probably running up hills or something like that. He's some character.
The dad's a good guy, though. I mean, he's a very good guy. You know?
He's brilliant.
His dad's in the film, Ashley. His dad. Yeah, do you know Jerry Norris? Do you remember the big guy that he's a proper Glasgow geezer? That he came he came with me to see Las Vegas that night. Do you remember the big guy? He was wearing Adidas, white Adidas. And I remember what shoes people wear. Yeah, Jerry. You know, I mean, Jerry plays Bobby's dad, and they actually weirdly know each other as well. Because Jerry's mad. Jerry's as big a character as Bobby's dad, and that's saying something because Bobby's dad's mental, right? And Jerry went and found Bobby's dad, and went, "Oh, I'm playing you in the film. Alan got me in the film." And Jerry's never acted in his life, and he actually did pretty well, to be fair.
Oh, brilliant! I can't wait for this to come out.
Have you got any Jobson today? Do you know Richard Jobson, the Skids guy? Do you know Jobson?
No. You know what? I think the bin men are out the back.
Well,
so I don't know if you can hear that background noise, but I'm just going to move in a wee bit closer. That would be a
name for a band, the Govan Hill Bin Men.
Aye, totally. I'm surprised they're not shouting, screaming and swearing.
Yeah, Jobson plays my dad. No, Jobson plays my dad, and he's brilliant. That's the guy. Me and Gillespie, me and Bobby used to go. And wait, this is 77, 78. We used to go to the Apollo. That was, I suppose, that was the big venue in the 70s, right? And Jobson got so big. He's only a year older than me, right? And he was headlining the Apollo to 2,500 people in Glasgow. He was a punk hero. And then eventually you get to know everybody, and then do you know what I mean? It's like that. But he's such a good guy, you know what I mean? But he plays my dad.
Brilliant. So have you got a wee story about, everyone, with being in lockdown and stuff like that, not being able to see their grannies, right? Have you got a story about your granny? Because I can imagine your granny being an absolute belter.
She was my gran was a head case, basically. I mean, she was on so many pills. Maybe that's where I got the drug problem thing. But she was just. When did my gran go? She went in the 90s, early 90s, I think. But she was. I think my father used to say, "Oh, she's on so many pills, she rattles."
She rattles.
She was all right. She was cantankerous. Do you know what I mean? She's in the I mean, of course, Irvin being Irvin, my granny's a bit left of the Third Reich. Do you know what I mean? You know.
Is she going to be featuring? Is there someone playing your granny in the movie?
I've got to watch some Scottish woman was playing her, and my gran just growls and swears in the film.
Brilliant. We were, my granny lived in Dixon Avenue in Govan, right? So we were brought up in Dixon Avenue, and we were talking, me and my cousins and all that, were talking about COVID and how careful we are in the immune system and all of this kind of stuff. And one of my cousins turned around and said like that, Granny used to let us eat the duck that the duck was buried in. So if our immune systems are fine, I think maybe, well, as long as we're careful, keep washing our hands, wearing a mask, going to the shop, I think we're going to be, fingers crossed, going to be all right. So, let the music play. You've got a venue in Wales.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean,
tell us about
I'm never in Wales anymore. Actually, I was there for about 4 or 5 years, bringing up my daughter, and then I'm back in London now. But it's like, it's not so much my venue. It's like, I mean, I'd probably done about 100 shows last year. We either bands or manager or doing Q&A, something like that. And now, not to do anything is so weird because every other industry's coming back, but I think I don't know, but Scotland seems to be dealing with COVID really well, but England, that clown Boris Johnson, is just, he's not on it. I think it'll spike. And if it spikes, there's just no way they're going to let us show. I don't think we're even back next summer. I think it's the back end of next year.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, Scotland keep going the way that we've been going.
Yeah.
And
You're going to just drive it out because, you know, but I mean, the track and trace in England, and that's probably the same. It's just so, I mean, Sturgeon, I like Sturgeon as it goes. And I think she is just, you know, she's getting it, and it's, you know, it's kind of going like that. It's just, she's managing to squeeze it right out. But England's just, Boris is just like a chancer, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? I mean, just an arch bluffer, and but he's not really. He's a bit like Trump. I mean, did you hear Trump the other night? Trump saying that, oh, like, you know, it's just going to go away. I mean, he had 50,000 cases yesterday. I mean,
we're praying and we're praying.
He's a muppet, man, isn't he? He's a muppet.
It's a total. It's like a movie watching that.
Yeah.
We're talking about conspiracies. There you go.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
Well, no. Well, a lot of people. Well, I'm saying no. Right. I always thought, well, what about this and what about that? Right. But people, a lot of my friends always come out with all these random conspiracies, and then I end up going, "Oh my God, I'm so gullible. I'll believe anything. Anything you tell me, I'll believe." Right. But some of these conspiracies are absolutely wild. You know.
I know.
But my favourite conspiracy is The Simpsons and the time travelling.
Oh, right.
But it's a cartoon, so we can deal with that. That's totally fine.
I've got relatives that think that the Corona was created by 5G pylons. I've been said stuff like that.
Right, I've seen quite a lot.
He's mad. But, like, do you know what it is? I feel for everybody, because you read stuff and for about 5 minutes you might believe it. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know. I suppose anything is possible. We never thought.
The other relatives that actually think it's a hoax, and you're a bit like, well, I don't think all these people have died for a hoax. So it's just, you know, I mean, you know, I think it's really difficult because sometimes you get really great information on the internet, but you've got to accept that that's rubbish. You know what I mean?
I'm a wee bit
believable rubbish, but it's rubbish, you know.
I think maybe you were as well, but you can't do none of that now. But I'm a wee bit of a rebel, right? And but see, when it comes to this COVID thing, I'm like, oh no parties, no, I'm staying in the house.
I know.
No chance.
I know, it's scary. You know what I mean?
It's scary. Right, so, well, have you got any exciting things coming up other than the movie? I know that you've just signed a brand new artist called Kat. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Love her.
Well, give it a play, man. Give it a play.
Definitely, 100%. We will. What was it that made you? What was the moment that you knew I'm going to offer her a deal?
I kind of knew she was going out with one of my pals, and she was cool. And then I don't know. I mean, we just connected, and then she sent me that song Doom Generation, and I thought I loved that. And then she's got another one that's even better than that called All the Money in the World. Do you know what I mean? And then I just thought I just put the records out. And during this lockdown phase as well, I'm not even going and putting them out physically. I'm just putting them up, you know, digitally. So it's not a huge cost to put all the records out of the moment. You only need to hire the blogger, the streaming person, and the press person, PR. So you can put singles out pretty cheap. So I just put it out.
Cool. So would you encourage young up and coming musicians to do that? Set up their own label and do that on their own?
Yeah, you can do it. I mean, it's like, I don't know if people want record labels anymore, really, to be honest. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, you know, in the 90s they were celebrated. The 80s and the 90s, Creation and Factory were celebrated. I'm not sure anybody cares that there's another Creation about now, a version of Creation. And, I mean, I like doing it. I'm not doing it for anybody else, so Ashley. I'm only doing it because I like doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Right, so we've spoke about your granny, we spoke about Dublin Hill, we spoke about pretty much all the bands, Irving Welsh, your movie. Were you in any gangs growing up?
Oh, I was a kind of football kid for initially, and then I wasn't. I hated all that really. To be honest, I didn't hate the gang thing that much. It wasn't me, so I never get involved in it. But I hated the Rangers Celtic, the sectarianism. The Rangers hated Celtic, Celtic hated Rangers, and Catholic and Protestant, Protestant Catholic. It's bollocks, man. I just never was down with it. So that was. There's a lot of factors just getting to it in Glasgow, but I hated the sectarianism.
Is there any young up-and-coming bands that you've seen throughout lockdown sharing lives and things like that you would recommend?
I think there's a couple. There was one in Northern Ireland I thought was pretty good, but it's like, it's a difficult thing to be good in, isn't it? Like, you're flat with a guitar, and do you know what I mean?
No.
But it's just, we just all got to get, like, a successful lockdown is not getting it. Do you know what I mean?
I remember sending you, or I gave you I think it was a CD or a USB stick from a couple of some of the young musicians coming through the Glasgow music scene that came through the Clipper. Doctor?
I don't remember. I'm not being rude. I just don't.
No, not at all. The Spires, have you heard of them?
Spires?
Uh-huh.
I have heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing well, they were all booked to play Transmit this year, but obviously it's been moved next year. They're not even, I think they've just turned 18.
Oh, brilliant.
18. Brilliant. Great girls, and the rest of the boys as well. Publicity stunts. We see it all the time. All over the media, the BBC, everything. See, as a manager, is that something that you come up with creatively with your press guys, or is there any publicity stunts that you remember doing, or?
No, with some of the press things that I've done in the past, back in the 80s and 90s and all that stuff, the truth is, I would never have thought out. It just happened, and then when it realised, we're going to, do you know what I mean? It's just going to be, we went with it. I remember one of the first things I've done was, we had Mary Chain at North London Poly in 1985, and it was a riot. But I had TV cameras there for the Canadian news, but I made them film the riot, and then sent all the press the riot, and we became the riot band. But it wasn't thought out. I just took advantage of a situation,
Brilliant. I've got a couple of wee questions from some of the Cliffa kids.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, a question from Robin Ashcroft.
Yeah, man.
Can you get me a record deal? Robin's asking if you can get a record deal. I'll let her know to give you a wee message. Yeah. Also, one of the Cliffa kids, he's only 14. Yeah. He has just recently got through in The Voice Kids UK.
Yeah. I'm just.
What do you think of these shows? Do you think they're a good thing, or is it more of a Saturday night family entertainment show rather than a music career?
I don't like them, but I'm an old guy. They're not designed to me. They remind me of Eurovision Song Contest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate them. That's the wrong word for it. I don't watch them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I only ever watch them whenever one of the kids from Glasgow's on. And see, to be honest with you, for the past 4 years, I've had to watch Britain's Got Talent. I've had to watch The Voice Kids UK. I've had to watch The Voice. But it just shows that the talent in Scotland is just second to none, really.
I know Scotland's crazy for the amount of bands actually found that. Because it's like, it's dug up. Because since, I think up to the 1980s, Scotland was a bit like, we were just, you had Sensational Alex Harvey Band, you had Lulu, you had Frankie Miller, but it wasn't, you'd Steal Us Wheel, they were amazing, right? But it wasn't like that. Then from 1980, once it gets to Orange Juice, Fire Engines, Joseph K, and then it it went bananas in the 80s, do you know what I mean? You know, and I had quite a lot of Mary Chain, Primals, Jazz and Wings, Pastels, you know, Teenage Fan Club, Mogwai, blah, blah, blah. They all blew up, do you know what I mean?
I've got Gordon Keane on next week.
Yeah. Oh, he's a good guy, actually. And,
Yeah, he's a good guy.
and then it just sort of blew up, do you know what I mean? In Scotland now, for 5 million people against the bands that we've had, and on top of that, Oasis got found in King Tut's, which was great, you know what I mean? You know.
Brilliant. Do you still speak to the boys?
Yeah, a little bit. I talk to Noel quite a lot, do you know what I mean? But I haven't seen Liam for years, do you know what I mean? I haven't seen Liam since I DJ'd for him in 2014. Actually, I DJ'd for him a couple of years ago as well. But I never saw him that time. But I DJ'd for him in Tokyo. We all are doing different. I'll get different lives, you know what I mean?
Aye, totally. Is it all chilling? Is there chilling now?
No, not chilling, but we're just all doing different things, you know. But nobody works with anybody else anymore, so it's difficult to be in touch with anybody in any real way, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, the Shambolics is another one of your signings.
Yeah, man.
And we Dogtooth, actually, they supported them at the last gig, I think it was, that they done at St. Luke's just before lockdown.
Yeah, man.
What, after lockdown, who is the first band or solo artist that you're going to go and see?
I can't call that because I don't know how long lockdown's going to go on.
All right, come on.
You know what I mean? There's no. Like, I don't know. What I've been listening to in lockdown a lot is Elvis Costello, all the early albums. I love that.
Nice.
And Velvet Underground. Well, not Velvet Underground. Lou Reed. Lou Reed and Elvis Costello probably listened to more than anybody else the last 3 months.
I was listening to a wee bit of Deacon Blue, Rain Time.
Yeah. No, I listened to. It was the Blue Nile. I think I was listening to yesterday. I was on some mad Spotify playlist that came up, and that was, you know, Scotland's got great bands, man. Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean, it's just since when lockdown happened, Facebook just exploded with talent, and loads of people sharing and singing.
You know that girl that she does kind of what you do. She interviews people and everything like that. Bev Lyons, do you know Bev?
Yeah, Bev over at Showbiz Line.
I was on her show, but I didn't know that she could sing, right? It was really funny, right? Because she didn't sing on the show, but I think I was having a bath or something like that, and I just had the thing rolling, and Bev came on giving it full on Whitney Houston, going da da da, and I just thought, you maniac. You know,
she's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen on Facebook, she had her balcony doors open.
Yeah.
And she's got like a wee Juliet balcony. She's got a mic and she's just singing right out to all her neighbours at the 8 o'clock. Clap your hands for the NHS. Brilliant. Get on her, man.
Yeah. She's funny, man.
What would be your karaoke tune?
My karaoke tune, Starman. I'm actually.
Oh, I think he's a tune.
Starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and beat us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. Any good?
Brilliant. Like, what are you getting up to for the rest of the day?
No, I'm just going to make my breakfast.
What are you having?
It's boring, man. Eggs.
Eggs, just eggs?
Toast.
Eggs and toast. Fried, boiled or poached?
Boiled.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
And I had fish cakes last night.
Oh, right, so you're a what do you call it?
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian, yeah. So you're not vegan?
I don't really eat meat, do you know what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally I cheat and I'm on a train and I go, I'll just have a BLT, but
right, come on.
Yeah.
Just go straight in with it, Peg. Here we go. Easy bacon.
But usually I just keep it to what I do, you know what I mean?
Right, so are you going to do your daily walk?
Yeah.
London Bridge?
I walk for miles, Ash. I kind of go for 10, 12 mile walks, you know, when I go, you know. I mean, yesterday I did about 4 or 5, do you know what I mean?
I seen a couple of photographs on Facebook and on Instagram, and I was trying to actually get my Alan pose perfect, right? So
Cool.
this is my right. Okay, so here we go. You must have a pair of shades nearby.
No, but I'll put my 70 specs on to see you.
Right. So this is my Alan pose.
I don't wear the sun specs.
Right. Okay, but I do. But anyway, you just look out into the distance.
Oh yeah.
And you get the beard, which is perfectly trimmed, by the way.
Wait a minute, that's me doing it myself.
Well done.
I'll show you.
Are you going to give us a live tutorial?
Yeah, man.
Oh, go for it.
Wait. There you go.
Right, what about the beard? Is that you shaving your action heat?
There you go.
So, yes, let's get down the back. This is a tutorial with Mr. Alan McGee.
80 quid, that was great.
80 quid?
Yeah, man.
80 quid? Oh, I am forgetting you're a millionaire. When's the first, what age were you when you made your first million?
Oh, it took me quite a long time, Ash. Do you know what I mean?
What was your first pet's name?
Can't tell you that one.
The last 3 numbers in the back of the cards. I'm joking. They're going to absolutely. Do you know what? I never wore my headphones, right? So they can't even tell me. Speak. No, I've not even got my headphones in, so they can't even speak to me and tell me what to do.
Yeah, this is good, man. As I do the breakfast show, I can like get my hair done.
Aye, exactly. Why don't you just start making the breakfast? I'll start making things. You can do shots of apple cider vinegar, and I can do shots of gin.
This is effing mad. So it's probably quite good.
Alan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I'm going to let you go and get your breakfast.
All right, when you come into Glasgow, ping us your number and we'll meet up, all right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Ashley, be good.
Peace.
See you soon, man. Bye.
See you soon. Bye. Thank you.